Well, today's a day that's going to go down in the history books, but if you don't know what happened, and I'm filming this now, and usually I script a lot of this show out because, I like to have it pretty polished, not insanely polished, but pretty polished. But I wanted to get my raw reactions to this because it's a it's a historical moment we're living in right now. And I talked about a few episodes ago, how election years are usually years that we look back on fondly, or at least we remember them well. And this is the reason why, because they're unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen, and usually a lot of things happen. A lot of stuff goes down during election years, and this one's no different. If you don't know what happened just now, Donald Trump, the person who's running against Joe Biden to be the next president, he was the president from 2016 to 2020. I don't need to tell you guys about this; you already know. But he was doing a rally, from in front of like apparently 50,000 people, and he got shot in the ear. He was bleeding, but it wasn't a serious wound, and he was fine. He like walked off the stage, whatever. And it's insane. The last president to get shot of the United States to get shot was Ronald Reagan. Of course, we had JFK get shot, and Teddy Roosevelt get shot, and Abraham Lincoln get shot. A lot of presidents, some like six presidents, maybe this might be the seventh. I'm not sure. A lot of presidents have gotten shot. A lot of United States presidents have got shot, and it's crazy. I mean, we live in a country it's so divided, and the sides hate each other, and I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I mean, I'm not scared to admit that when I watched the video for the first time, I got goosebumps. It's a weird feeling. I mean, I wasn't alive for 9/11, um but I'm sure a lot of people, when they saw George Bush go to that site, they got goosebumps because you feel like something bigger than you is happening. Like you're living through something, and there's someone that you feel like a lot of people can get behind. And I'm not a fan of Donald Trump at all. Trust me, I don't. I really I really don't like him, but I'm not scared to admit that when I watched him get up and fist pump, you feel like he's a leader. And that's not something I would probably say before today. I probably wouldn't say Donald Trump's a leader. I don't think I still probably don't think he's a leader, but you feel in that moment, you feel like you have someone you can trust. So I want to get into where I was and how I learned about it and all that stuff. So I was in the gym, working out, and I wasn't usually when I'm in the gym, I don't pay too much attention to my phone. I just turn on a podcast or music, and then I just put it in my pocket and don't look at it until I'm done. But I was looking at the TVs in the gym, which I don't watch TVs in the gym either, but I saw on the TV a Trump rally, and I was like, they don't usually play the news here. Um, well, they'll play the news, but usually the local news doesn't cover like presidential rallies unless they're in your town. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Is Trump in our town or something? So I went on Google and looked up, Trump rally Michigan or whatever, because I wanted to like, oh, that's interesting. He's here. I wonder what's going on. Um, and so I looked it up, and the first thing was um, like gunshots at Trump rally, and I was like, that's an interesting way to put, like, because usually Donald Trump will be like, hold roast people, or like, like sometimes it'll be described as like gunshots, like he's like roasting people really hard or something, but like making fun of people. But then I scrolled to the next one, and it was like Trump shot, and I was like, that's okay, wow. And then I realized, oh, he got something happened, and there's shots fired. And so then I was like, I don't usually like looking at the news because that's like usually it's behind, or there's some element of bias in it. Um, so I went to just the video. I tried to find the video, and I found the video of how he got shot. And this was maybe 5 minutes after it happened, so it was like the first videos were just popping up of what actually happened, and that's when I watched it for the first time, and I was like, wow. And so I went to the gym with my friend, and so I went over to my friend. I was like, Trump got shot, and he was like, or so actually by now I didn't actually know he got shot. I just thought it was shots fired because I watched the video, and when you watch the video and it's kind of in low quality, so you couldn't tell that he was bleeding. So I went over to my friend. I was like, Trump got shot, or there was like shots. Someone shot at Trump, I think is what I said to him. He was like, oh, he said to me, because he's usually on his phone more at the gym. So he was like, oh no, Trump got shot. I was like, oh, I thought the I thought someone shot at him. So then I went on my phone a little more, and the gym was like closing. So I was like, I actually didn't really like do a lot of research until I was done, because I had to go quick, and so went to the gym because I wanted to finish all my whole workout before the gym closed. So I kind of finished my workout, and then I went over like outside, and I looked up like the video again, and you can see he was like bleeding. He like grabs his ear, and so that was pretty crazy. So then my friend drove me home, and then I got home to my dad, who obviously was alive for Reagan getting shot, so he's more experienced with this kind of stuff, like 9/11. And so before I get into this, what I wanted to say is that like I know some people, like a lot of people are gonna have mixed feelings about this. Like not everyone's gonna agree with me that they see Trump as sort of a leader now after this, or they see that moment as sort of a moment of leadership, or you can sort of look up to that guy as like someone that's a good leader. But what I wanted to talk about was that like this show is like I just wanted to get this out like unscripted, and I already mentioned this, but I really just like I want to capture my feelings right now. So as sort of like a little time capsule, like what was I thinking right after it happened? So the whole details haven't come out. I haven't really formulated any opinions. I'm just going off like exactly what I've experienced, and I've already said this. I really don't like Trump or Biden or any of the sides, but I want to get out my like just instant reactions. And I'm sorry if some people don't disagree with my reactions, and I'm sure everyone's gonna react differently, but that's just how I feel. So I went home, and I went to my dad, who was has been alive for 9/11 and all these things, like big events, and I said he hasn't been checking his phone, so I said, hey, Trump got shot, and he was like, wow, and so I said, yeah, but like I was like, yeah, he didn't die or whatever, and somebody was like, okay. So then, I kind of explained to him, and as I was explaining to him, he was just like, wow, Trump is gonna win, and that's something that didn't cross my mind yet. I didn't think about how this would affect the race, but it's an interesting point. He said because he said he was alive, obviously for Bush and Reagan. I mean, Bush didn't get shot, but 9/11 that was a big moment. So Reagan obviously got shot, and then my dad said Reagan, everyone loved him after that. People were kind of down on Reagan a little bit, but then after he got shot, everyone went up. And then the same thing for Bush, which everyone knows after 9/11, everyone loved Bush because they thought he was just like a leader. And my dad said, yeah, that's what's gonna happen this time. And my dad's not a fan of Trump either. So, I mean, coming from him, same thing with my mom said. She said, yeah, I think Trump's gonna have a big jump from this, and she's definitely not a Republican at all. So I think a lot of people feel the same way, that like this is a moment of leadership from someone they didn't expect, or they didn't think they could have those feelings for this guy. But when someone gets shot, and they just there's another element of this where he gets shot, they try to put him in jail. There's a lot of things that happen in him, and put him in jail or not, you can think whatever you want about that, but there's no argument against the fact that Trump has been sort of he's been prosecuted. People really don't like him, and a lot of people when they feel like everything's against them, that's a lot emotion everyone's experienced. So they look at Trump and they see he gets shot and he gets back up. What is like, and this is what I really want to emphasize. There's nothing more powerful than getting literally shot and then you get back up on your feet. That's like we talk about, getting pushed down and getting back on your feet. You got shot and you get back up on your feet. No matter who you are, I give you respect. And I would say, wow, that's powerful. There's some really evil people that if they got shot at a rally and they got back up, the people I hate the most, if they got shot and they got back up, I would get goosebumps. I would say, wow, like that's a leader, and that's someone you can respect no matter what. That's someone you can say, wow. I mean, of course, there's some people I think are truly terrible people that I would say, maybe you deserve to get shot, like Hitler. I wouldn't, if Hitler got shot, I would say, okay, good. But like, okay, there's a certain criteria you have to meet for me to ever have respect for you. But getting shot, as long as you meet those bare minimum criterias, I'm gonna have respect for you. Getting shot and get back up, wow. I mean, it's just something. I think it's pretty human to like to recognize someone getting beat down and they get back up. There's so many movies about it. books about it. It's such a classic trope, and so no matter what you think about it, I think there's an element of everybody, of a lot of people who really, pretty much everyone who doesn't think Trump is a Nazi, everyone who thinks Trump isn't like Hitler, everyone, everyone besides those people, I think, are gonna have some sort of respect for Trump. And yeah, I guess I do agree with my dad that his poll numbers are going to go up because that only makes sense, right? That seems like that seems like what's going to happen. And I don't know how much they're going to go up because that seems like, I don't know. I think a lot of people have already really made their decision. I don't know how many undecided people there are or Democrats that would switch to Republican, but yeah, it's definitely one of those moments. Another thing, another thing that struck me is that Joe Biden hasn't released a statement. All the Democrats are like, we need to back Trump in this moment, like it's or whatever. We need to support Trump, not like support him for president, but like like prayers or whatever, And Joe Biden hasn't said anything, which is really weird. Usually Biden's tweeting a lot. He's always tweeting, but as soon as this happened, he stopped, which I guess it is a really big moment for Biden too, right? This is a huge moment for Biden. The way he deals with this is huge. So I guess they're just trying to take time to figure that out. But it seems like you have to condemn this, right? Like just a tweet or something. It seems pretty easy. I don't know. I don't like the way Biden's handled this. Um, and you guys know me. I don't think Biden is a terrible president. I think he's done a lot of bad things and some good things, and same thing for a lot of people. For Trump too, right? So I mean, you guys know where I stand on this politically, but like just today, it seems like Biden, you have to release something. It's like it's cowardly to not release something right now. Just say what everyone else is saying. Just I know this is a big moment for Biden. Like you need to have the right response to this if you don't want to lose all your support, or it should also be a big moment for Biden to gain support. Actually, I think. I mean, maybe if he has a really good response to this and he says, we need me and Trump. I didn't. Maybe he says, I didn't know I knew the division was this bad, but this is a step too far. Maybe that's something Biden has to say. Even if he says that would gain him, support in my book. That's the most courageous thing I think he could do right now is say, I know the country's divided, but this is a step way too far. I didn't know it could reach these lengths. This is me and Trump. We're gonna come together. No more not shaking hands. We're gonna shake hands to the next debate. We need to be. Everyone needs to be more cordial together, more cordial to each other. And I know that's like everyone needs to be nice, but like that's. I think if he says that, it is sort of like everyone needs to be a nicey, but like that's something that the president should be saying right now. And the fact that he's silent, it's like it just seems like a slam dunk. Just say this is like we need to stand behind Trump, and the division has gone way too far. That's such an easy statement. He hasn't made it. And oh, another thing I want to say is I haven't really watched any like commentary about this. So really, this is all my what I've been thinking. Like I haven't watched any like political shows or whatever, like people or news or anything like that. Like people saying what they think about this. I've just been, this is all opinions that I've made up in my head. Okay, so that's the Trump thing. That's gonna take up a lot of this show, but there's some other things that I wanted to talk about. One of which is there's this app that everyone loves right now. It's called Airbuds. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it. But if you don't know what it is, it's like it tracks your Spotify or Apple Music, and then you can have all your friends who add you on this app. They can see exactly what you're listening to when you're listening to it. And I know like probably a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, but like isn't it kind of weird like having everyone know exactly what music you're listening to? Like for me at least, like sometimes I'll listen to like some embarrassing music, like Phineas and Ferb theme song or some shit, like, and then it's like, do I want everyone to know I'm listening to that exactly when I'm listening to that? Like I'm pretty sure they're just gonna clown on me, but that's just my stance on Airbuds. It's a really quick segment of this show, but I just wanted to give my stance on Airbuds. Hopefully, you guys in the comments can tell me what you think about Airbuds too, because yeah, it's an interesting app. I don't know. And then to get back into politics, I wanted to talk about um something I've noticed. So there's this trend of like, I'm sure it's been a thing forever, but I've really just noticed it like picking up maybe where the thing that people really care about right now is fallout, right? So like for example, the debate, right? The presidential debate. There's you everyone watches the debate, but really what people want to know is how is everyone going to react? And this is like even now today when Trump gets shot, it's like what's the fallout of this is what everyone's thinking about. And of course that's what you should be thinking about because it's like what how is this going to affect things? I mean, everyone watches the source material, the debate or whatever the big event is, but no one knows how it's going to affect them. Everyone has different opinions about it, but what really matters is the majority, like the mass opinion. And it makes sense that this is the big thing, but it seems like the fallout has become the bigger story. Like the fallout of everything is like just more like there's less people discussing, what the debate meant, or like there's less people discussing like what happened in the debate and how like who won or like whatever the details were versus people just making a conclusion and then going from there. Like for example, the debate, obviously Joe Biden lost. I mean, that wasn't no one's going to like dissect the debate and be like Joe Biden actually won, right? But what people could have done is like actually like talked about what they talked about during the debate versus immediately the entire media focus was, and this is Democrats and Republicans and what you think of people as like unbiased journalists or whatever. Everyone immediately was like, okay, Joe Biden lost, it was a terrible night, now let's just get him out, and that's the only thing we're going to talk about, how we're going to get Joe Biden out. But that's like the whole fallout thing. Everyone wants to know what's the fallout going to be. How are we going to get Joe Biden out? What's Trump's poll numbers after this? What's Biden's poll numbers after this? What's Harris thinking about here? What's Burgum and all these different people involved in the race like Newsom and Whitmer think about this? Whereas I think if we spent more time thinking about what actually happened, it would be more productive. And I think that's what a lot of Democrats right now are thinking too, because in this and like so I think that's what a lot of Democrats right now are also thinking, because they think that like a lot of the Democrats and Republicans are overreacting, and the media is overreacting. They're like all they can focus on is we need to get Joe Biden out, and then they're not really thinking about like, okay, the debate was bad, but they're not. The Democrats want the media to not focus as much as on let's just get Biden out. They want them to focus on, okay, Biden had a really bad night, okay, whatever, all right, like that's just he's obviously in mental decline. A lot of Democrats are admitting that he's obviously in mental decline. Okay, maybe he's not fit, but he's it seems like he's staying in the race. So like we got we can't just keep calling him for him to leave and then expecting for something to happen from there. And so yeah, I think a lot of Democrats are thinking sort of what I'm thinking here. So yeah, like obviously bad, like fallout is important. Fallout from everything, every important event in politics is important, but I think if we spent more time, focusing on what actually happened, and then, instead of entirely focusing on how, of course we should really focus on how it's going to affect things and what happens next. But what really I think we should put a little more focus on is what exactly happened, talking about that, and not necessarily jumping to conclusions about fallout. All right, we're going to be talking a little more politics here about Trump vice presidential pick. And this is pretty interesting because it's really late in the race. It's really late in the race to pick a VP. Usually the VP comes way before this, right? I think the Republican convention is in like 2 days, and by then you'd think you'd want the VP, right? But he still hasn't, picked one. And there's like 8 candidates or something. I think there's like the short list he had was like 8 people, and I don't know. I really don't understand why he won't pick anyone, and why he wants to fly solo for now. But in a sense, it makes sense for him because Trump is bigger than anyone else in the Republican Party, right? Like no one's the only thing a vice presidential pick can do is bring Trump down from here. And I think that's probably the reason he hasn't picked anyone yet. But I think you got to pick someone eventually. So that's just a quick VP talk. Yeah. And then I know we've talked about a lot of stuff on this show, but I have one more thing to show you guys. And it's in this handy dandy notebook here. And I can't leak that. That's crucial information on the other side of this. But what I can leak is this little flowchart I made. And I'm sorry if you guys just listen to this. I know some people only listen to this, but I know a lot of people watch this. So I made a little flowchart about NA All-Stars. Oh no, is it going to be mirrored? Oh, sorry if it's mirrored. Okay. Anyways, it says NA All-Stars in the middle. It's this competition that's happening, by the way. It's only one event, and it's like the top 30 people in the world almost. Like, or top like 30 people in the US who are like going to go to North American Champs. But it's like the weekend before North American Champs. It's on July 16th if you guys want to watch. And so I made a little flowchart because I think NA All-Stars is really good for the cubing community. So I made a little flowchart to talk about it. So here's how it goes. Top competitors plus only 3x3 in this bubble up top here. That arrow drawn to less boring. Less boring arrow drawn to more, what does it say? More eyeballs, more people watching cubing, okay? Because cubing is less boring, well, the top competitors in only 3x3 makes cubing less boring, or makes competitions less boring, less time in between events and less time where you're only watching people who aren't, like, solving it in 30 seconds, right? Or who are solving it in 30 seconds. You want to watch the guys who are solving it in, like, 6 seconds, which are the people at NA All-Stars. And then arrow drawn to more eyeballs. We already talked about that. More people watching. Arrow drawn to more money. More eyeballs equals more money. Sponsorships. More, people entering the cubing economy. Oops, some sticky notes fell out. We're okay. Second to last. Arrow drawn to more competitive cubers. That's important, right? Because, more money in cubing. When there's more money, more people are going to be willing to do it more. So there's going to be more really fast competitive cubers. And then finally, cubing becomes more like all other sports. So cubing becomes like football or like soccer or like baseball. Because there's more money, becomes more and more like those other sports. And then you get the full circle arrow drawn back to top competitors plus only 3x3, which makes cubing more fun, which it's the circle of goodness, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will say more competitors, being more like other sports, cubing becoming all like other sports, and all these things are like bad for cubing, right? But in my opinion, I think the really fast cubers and the people who are, the really diehard cubers, and I know it's a small percent of cubers, but the really people who are cubers for life, that the WCA and the cubing community needs, those people are the ones who are going to benefit from this NA All-Stars type flowchart circular deal. And I think you want to keep those people. And I'm sorry if this sounds elitist, because I know like 98% of cubers aren't these people, but we can have good competitions for them. And this isn't really hurting them, other than, it is making cubing sort of more elitist. You can make that argument, but it's not like cubing can always be a sport for everyone. Let me just make that clear. Cubing will always be a sport for everyone, because I think it's too much to say we're gonna totally flip cubing around and make it an elitist sport where only the best people get to play. And also, this isn't true for any sport. A lot of people who are saying this kind of thing makes cubing elitist, I mean, I know there's not a lot of people saying that, but there are some people, saying things like this. And so, like, a lot of people who are saying that, guys, every sport in the world, football, baseball, soccer, they have, like, amateur leagues. And they have, like, even soccer has, like, the pyramid, the football pyramid, where, you can get relegated or promoted based on how good you are. And, like, baseball, you have Little League. You have people who are worse at playing, but they still get to play the really fun sport. And cubing, it's going to become more like this because of things like this. And I think it should become more like something like that. But these people are afraid that cubing is all, like, it's cubing is, I think, only for the masses. It's not for the elites ever. I don't know about that. Don't you want the really diehard cubers, the elite cubers? I know there's diehard cubers who aren't fast, and they do other things than being fast. But there's also being fast in 3x3 specifically. But the really diehard cubers, the famous ones, the ones that advance cubing, really, think about it. Famous cubers who have really pushed cubing into the public eye. And I know, again, some people don't want cubing in the public eye. That's kind of another argument. But Max Park, Felix Zemdegs, right off the bat, the top two speed cubers of all time. What are they famous for? 3x3, right? They had 3x3 world records. Probably the third most famous ever, Timon, Kevin Hayes. All these people, they did big cubes too, which are sort of part of this, but 3x3 is the main thing, right? I guess Kevin Hayes is really longer. Okay, but you guys get it. The most famous cubers of all time are 3x3ers. Patrick Pont, Lucas. I mean, okay. I don't have to give you guys names, but you guys get it. So I think this flowchart is good. Some people are going to say the flowchart is bad. I would disagree with them. But thank you guys for watching. This is a crazy episode. We're really living in a historical day today. Today was a historical day for us. So yeah, I don't know what to talk. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's life is crazy, you know. Oh, actually, one more thing. I won't be doing episodes for the next month. I think hopefully I can do episodes, but I will be in Israel for the next month. So I don't know if I'll be able to do episodes from there, but I hope I will be able to do episodes from there. So I'll try. But give me a second to get situated in Israel before I start pumping out Ezra Shear shows episodes. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys.